the Department of Justice actually go ahead and charge three with conspiring to unlawfully divert cutting edge U.S. artificial intelligence technology to China. The indictment that was unsealed details alleged efforts to evade U.S. export laws through false documents, staged dummy servers to mislead inspectors, and convoluted transshipment schemes in order to obfuscate the true destination of restricted AI technology, which was the destination of China. Did you hear about this, Ben?
No, this is my first time hearing about this.
Okay, so essentially, there's this company called Supermicro, and they essentially were helping China get their hands on some chips that were supposed to be export controlled. So, for anyone who's not super familiar, we've got extremely advanced AI chips that are being developed in Taiwan. And the US has tried everything in its power to keep China from being able to get as many of those chips as they can so that the US can stay competitive in the AI race and as well as to make sure that China does not necessarily become the dominant player in that space and then potentially have that be the reason why, uh, essentially from a military perspective and a technology perspective, then become superior to the United States to try to prevent that. So this guy, apparently for years, it seems, has actually been working around that, smuggling somewhere near $2.5 billion in NVIDIA chips to China. So the co-founder, Wally, was arrested, personally holds $400 million in SMCI stock.
2.5 billion is crazy.
Yeah, insane. In spring 2025, they shipped $510 million worth of these chips. They built fake dummy servers and faces up to 30 years in federal prison. Okay. So, very spectacular occurrence here. There was some clips circulating on Twitter of them literally getting caught on video, replacing like the labels on some of these chips and like putting them on other chips. And there was like a meme about it. I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but it was like a classic proper founder, like do the things that don't scale.
That's crazy.
So, crazy story here. We all know that it's happening, right? Because China has these chips, right? We know that they
Mm,
do. The question is, right, who's
how are
doing
they getting
it?
them?
And then, yeah, and then how are they actually getting there? So that was an example of that one. Moving on here, Claude just put out an update that is making waves over the internet. Um, so maybe play a little bit of this. I'm a little bit scared of that, actually. I don't know about that music, man. I don't know if I can play that.
Yeah. Better
But
safe than sorry here.
essentially, Claude is now doing what OpenClaw is doing, if I'm not mistaken. Is that kind of what the
Yeah.
takeaway is from this?
Very similar.
Okay. So you can now enable Claude to use your computer to complete tasks. It opens your apps, navigates your browser, fills in spreadsheets, anything that you would do sitting at your desk. And so Raoul Pal here actually also said the speed of Anthropic AI is quite something, literally a new big product feature every few days. Wild. So there's some good memes that we'll get into about this a little bit later on. People basically saying what's coming up next with this. Is this going to like take over my relationship? Like, am I going to get divorced after this with the next update? And also some other stuff that we'll talk about when we get into the meme section. What are your initial thoughts on this?
So a bunch of different things come up. First of all, is that all these things are truly amazing, but they're supercharging the people already using this stuff and like creating a further gap from everyone who's not, right? It's just getting more and more aggressive because this amplifies my productivity, but it also makes it like farther away from people who know how to use these tools because we've been using them when they were bad. So we knew how to make them decent when they were bad. So now they're even easier to use because they're actually good, right? So there still was a bit of a learning curve in terms of how to best prompt these things to get what we want and think of the use cases and stuff. So I think this further exaggerates the K that we've been talking about as these things get rolled out. And has this reached actual enterprise value? Like how much is this improving people's productivity at work? Because I always come back to the incentive structures, man, within these companies is that most people's compensation structures out there, like most jobs, are not really incentivized to be that much more productive.
Most people aren't incentivized to be more productive in their job.
Yeah. Not really. Like I could give my company now like 100 times now the return with amplification from AI tools. What do I get? Maybe a bonus?
Exactly.
So
for
I
sure.
think that a lot of massive companies are incredibly ripe for disruption where most like legacy brands in all sorts of fields, they will fall out because it'll be too logistically complicated to change the incentive structures.
Mm,
That's why they'll die. And there'll be so many massive companies that will fall.
very, very good take there. Yeah. The concept of just maybe I could get a bonus. The incentive is the exact opposite. It's how can I do as little as possible and make sure that I still get paid,
Oh,
right?
completely. You even see it on the internet
Yeah.
all the time. People talk about this out loud. They
Yeah.
say it,
Yeah.
right?
Facts.
So it's going to make things more crazy. It's great for builders like you and I. And I would say anybody who's watching this, like move, build the things, try, fail, learn a lot.
100%. Anything else on that?
No, I think that that's just, we bring these things up, guys, because it's moving with or without us. So we may as well take advantage.
100%, man. Another thing that happened, I guess this was yesterday, Apollo has just capped redemptions from one of its largest private credit funds after today's withdrawal request exceeded 11% of outstanding shares. Cracks in the private credit markets seem to be spreading. So, I mean, this is, I'm like, okay, I'm running out of the big names that are going to start halting their withdrawals. I mean, this is
Mhm.
once again like the biggest, second, third biggest name in private credit that has now halted withdrawals on their private credit funds. And so clearly there's an issue here. I don't know what else to say. But yeah, I mean, I guess if people are investing in private credit, uh, this is what's happening. And if you're watching it, here's what's going on as well. I think we've had some conversations with people about how like, oh, this is just institutional investors. This doesn't impact anyone. But like, who are institutional investors, right? Is what my mind always goes to. Well, institutional investors are the people that are holding everyone else's money. So it doesn't really make sense that you're talking about, oh, well, it's just an institutional investor. This doesn't affect everyday people. I'm like, well, but that's your money.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it does seem like there's a bit of like cognitive distance there of perception versus reality. And it how much worse can it get before like the ricochet or the trickle down effect, I guess better way of saying it, impacts us.
right. Yeah. There's no telling, too. I mean, what I'm really just perplexed by is, I mean, I don't know. There's just a lot going on at one time, right? Like the private credit market's having issues. You've got bond yields continuing to rise. You've got oil prices kind of going up at the moment. I'm like, hey, man, could something calm down? Let's catch a break here.
It all seems like it's to get people to a state where they would accept the new system. Right, like Sir Night Night says here, AI is wealth transfer. I think AI and blockchain and crypto is wealth transfer, in my opinion. Like
Mm,
the new system will be here, and you can't tax rich people. So what do? You create value out of things that weren't valuable before that we can get access to, right? Like I think that it'll happen organically through entrepreneurship, and I also think that crypto will play a role.
yeah, it's interesting, man. I mean, technology in general has definitely changed the makeup of wealth and will continue to. Uh, Information technology in particular, I would say, I guess.
Totally,
Um, but also, uh, one of the concerns, right, is for the tech companies, they've kind of already solidified their place, right? So any new information technology gains are probably going to go to the owners of these companies, right? That's what we continue to try to determine. Is like, will there really be these rises of these new companies that come in versus the growth that these other companies will have? I'm not saying I do think that there will be more people that are able to then create businesses,
hmm
right? But then you think about it like this: like when you go to a smaller country, a developing country, and you see the small businesses everywhere, right? So you see the local farmers market, but that's like the normal thing. Well, those business people, there's a lot of them there, and are they like some of those people are living in poverty? You know what I'm saying? So like, yes, they have their own businesses, but are they really thriving? And
fair.
so in a way, I could kind of see that kind of looking like how what the technology space could end up looking like, not to that extreme, obviously, but just the
hmm
concept of like you've got a bunch of new businesses, but the business that's really making the money was the people who supplied the fruit for those people to go and sell it, right? The people who
Totally.
actually were doing the farming.
So does the value get all the way down to who's doing the labor kind of deal?
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, I honestly think that a lot of these major AI companies 'Cause it seems like more and more of this is getting open source, and eventually it'll get that route. So I don't I'm skeptical for the long-term viability of a lot of these companies. I think they'll get absorbed by bigger guys.
So, but then wouldn't that be the concern? Wait, say that again?
I don't think that they'll be able to commercialize this like the current companies to maintain running independently, right? Like, I don't think that they've sorted out how to make money from this yet, and unless that changes pretty
Okay,
dramatically, I think they're gonna
gotcha.
have to get absorbed by somebody who has the bigger pocketbooks to figure that out with more time.
So you're saying which of those companies though that are gonna get absorbed?
I think I if ChatGPT doesn't figure out something soon, I think that someone would buy them.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So, and that's a whole nother issue, right? Because these valuations keep on getting out of hand. So then you really almost can't unless you just do a massive down round, which is a possible way to do it. You know what I mean? You just sell it at like a much lower valuation than what you currently have is one way to
Mhm.
go about it. But the crazy thing is that these companies are on the path to going public, right? So it's like at that point, you really can't very easily change the valuation or change the ownership, right? You've got to have somebody that comes in and actually does that actively in the open market. And
Mhm.
if you're starting at a super high valuation, that gets really hard to do. Um, but at least at that point, you've got transparency around the actual financials that would allow the market to bring those values back down. But then again, the thing about going public is that you can actually now even more use the public perception as the way to increase your valuation. Versus in the private markets, technically the public perception doesn't matter as much as the actual capital that's flowing in and out of these companies and how much money they're making, whether someone's willing to invest in it actually as an investor, not from your average person. What do you think?
But that's super interesting to think about, but the public perception of AI is horrible. So isn't it better that only
Yeah,
private money can touch it?
probably. Um, Probably.
Yeah, I don't know. But only one way to find out, and it'd probably be a painful experiment. But yeah, I've never seen a company with the PR like they have.
Like ChatGPT?
OpenAI, Sam Altman,
Yeah, okay, yeah,
like,
sorry.
oh, you're good, you're good. I've never seen anyone that hated. Maybe I have recency bias.
Maybe
Uh,
you're in your silo.
yeah, but
No,
but
for
that
sure.
widespread because well, who else has said that they're going to come and take everyone's job out loud?
Just him and Dario.
Yeah, and Dario got a big PR win by saying no to the government too.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
So that's definitely helping for them. So them being public, I could see making a ton of sense.
Because they've got a better public perception.
Yeah, and especially the us versus OpenAI thing.
Right.
We need to support Anthropic because that'll take down
Yeah,
OpenAI.
facts. Yeah. Yeah, he's in a good spot right now. He should
But
go public right now.
to be fair, like yeah, like the average retail investor would not even really be that involved. Like people are pretty strapped for cash in general. But like
For sure.
so yeah, it's definitely an incredibly complex problem. This year probably feels like the point where we'll get some sort of resolution in terms of how this all plays out.
Something's gotta give. Something's gotta give. Uh, with all of that being said, there was some reports here of a wildfire in Nebraska. About 900,000 acres have been burned so far. I saw something like 775,000 acres yesterday.
Dang.
So ranchers losing everything here at the worst possible time as the Iran war stirs fears of global food shortages.
Hey,
So,
did
yep.
they say the source of the fire?
No, we don't have that information just yet.
Wow. And is Nebraska heavy farmland?
Yes, that's all it is. It's farmland, and the problem here is that a lot of this land that's being burned is grazing land for cattle,
Oh no.
so would be very hard to feed and take care of cattle in this environment with there being a massive fire. The other thing that's kind of like more conspiracy around all of this is that there's an aquifer that's in Nebraska and around this fire. I don't think that it's been like affected yet,
Got it.
but it is responsible for 30% of the irrigation throughout the United States agriculture. So if this aquifer were to get compromised in any way, it would probably be a pretty big deal.
Mhm.
So, anyways, that's going on in the background of all of this as well.
Scary.
Moving on, we've got a little bit of the update from the war. I'll kind of just talk about it, and then we'll talk about the impacts of all of this. So, Friday or Saturday, Trump came out and was like, "Hey, everybody, Iran, you got 48 hours to open up the Strait of Hormuz. If you don't do it, then we're going to start bombing your power infrastructure." Iran was like, "Word, if you start bombing our power infrastructure, we're going to start bombing the electrical infrastructure and energy infrastructure in the Gulf Coast, and even the desalination plants are on the table." Talk a little bit about the desalination plants in the Middle East. You have to, it's a desert. It's a massive desert. It's a 900,000 square mile desert, the Arabian Peninsula, essentially.
Mhm.
And so there's not a whole lot of water. And so the water that they get comes from the sea. And they take the water out of the sea and they desalinate it and then they use it to drink. Kuwait is 90% reliant upon these desalination plants. If you bomb these desalination plants, there's going to be millions and millions of people that are just without drinking water. So
That's horrible.
horrible outcome. So a couple days passes by. Apparently, in between, like Israel and US or whatever, were already attacking Iran's infrastructure, and they were already starting to attack back. But yesterday, Trump came out and said, "Hey," on Monday, he was like, "Look, we got 5 more days to figure this out. Apparently, we're in talks with Iran, and everything's going to be figured out. We'll do a 5 day kind of halt on those specific attacks."
Mhm.
So, market reacted positively. The market was like, "Oh, okay, this is great." Up like 2% or whatever. The Nasdaq turned out there was like some funny business going on in the background during all of that as well. There's some reports of insider trading that took place yesterday as he made this announcement. Right before he made the announcement, there was like hundreds of millions of dollars worth of calls that were made in the futures market that was short oil, and then also stuff that was long, uh, you know, equities. So crazy situation there. And Iran came out later and was like, "Actually, though, we haven't talked to you at all." And it was like, "Oh, okay." So the markets haven't really properly reacted to that part of it, but they're still basically claiming that they're talking to Iran, and Iran has made some claims that they haven't. So
Mhm.
that's where we're at today. But as all of that's going on, there's still an issue with the Strait of Hormuz potentially being shut. From what we understand, it's still closed. And you've got countries starting to take action about that and things starting to pop up as an issue. So let me actually start off with there being some fuel shortages that are hitting Australia. This guy says that crime is already rising. There are criminals that are siphoning petrol from cars on the streets, 164 petrol stations without diesel, supply disruptions pushing food prices higher. And this is a little bit of what's going on. I'll play a quick little piece from this.
Heartless criminals have started siphoning petrol out of cars parked on the street as the crime wave from the fuel crisis gets worse by the day. Now, the price of fruit and veggies across Sydney is skyrocketing as grocers try to cover their ballooning costs.
At the fruit and veg shop, the rising price of petrol leaving supply far from apples.
Rather than coming daily to the market, it's only coming maybe twice a week.
Pushing up prices, the worst produce transported from interstate, like broccoli and fennel.
Probably about 25% to 30% increases so far.
Impacting small business, food producer Elizabeth Hewson sources her ingredients interstate.
How long can I ride this out? And you don't really want to make a drastic change like increase the price straight away.
Today, 50.
So, yeah, Australia's been getting hit first. Apparently, they are large importers of diesel. A lot of their industry, apparently, I mean, it's a very spread out country as well. It's I guess like a big ring around. Probably, I've actually never been there or know too much about it. But transport is also a really big piece of this. You've got to get stuff to the grocery stores, and people are starting to panic a little bit about that.
Yeah, I saw a clip on TikTok too. I don't know if it was real, but where all the shelves were empty of produce and they were
Yeah,
running around. So who knows?
yeah.
But yeah, hopefully that gets resolved.
So moving forward, there was the Philippines today has gone ahead and actually declared a state of a national energy emergency in the country. So Philippines is getting lower on oil. There's Bangladesh is also in a situation. A few different countries are in the Southeast Asia, specifically kind of area, already starting to kind of have some problems. So this is a little bit more on that piece. Apparently, with Trump in the insider trading situation, Trump insider with a 100% win rate opened a $23 million oil short ahead of Trump's emergency announcement. This guy's on a perfect streak of 14 trades in a row with $180 million in profit. I think this might be on some decentralized platform is why they're able to. No, actually, that's not the case. Actually, yeah, I think this is on some sort of decentralized platform that they're doing that on.
Having that picture of Barron is pretty crazy, though, in it. Is there
Yeah.
proof that it was him?
No, they've constantly done that when it comes to
Yeah.
all of these things. They've put him around. It's like it's either him or his other kids that must be involved to some degree. Now, one of the things is that the Speaker of the Parliament of Iran did himself actually say that whatever announcement that Trump was making was something that had to have been done to manipulate the prices. He said, "We're not talking to you. This must be about that." So let me try to find his actual Twitter account real quick because he himself posted that. He was saying, "Look, dude, um, it's hard for me to find it because he doesn't have his full name on there.
You're good.
But yeah, he posted something that said this is all about him trying to manipulate the markets."
Interesting. And someone said, what's all this for again? Like
Oh,
the war and everything. Yeah.
oh man.
And the petrodollar obviously is a massive connection to all of this, right? And when you just think about like the timing of all of it is just, I don't know, man. Like the Strait of Hormuz with the petrodollar system, I don't know. It all seems like very coordinated.
Yeah, so I'm actually looking at his newest tweet. It came out a couple hours ago. It says, "We are aware of what is happening in the paper oil market, including the firms hired to influence oil futures. We also see the broader jawboning campaign, but let's see if they can turn that into actual fuel at the pump, or maybe even print gas molecules." Dang, so he's really talking that smack.
And
Uh,
this is guys from Iran.
yeah, this is their head of parliament. In the US, that's like the equivalent to Mike Johnson, I think, who's like the House Speaker, imagine,
Got
right?
it.
Kind of a vibe. But at this point, right, so much of their government has been severed, right? So imagine you lost your president and your vice president. I'm pretty sure the next person in place would be the House Speaker. So in a way, I think he might be kind of like the guy. Um, So yeah, so this was the actual full statement that he said yesterday, which was, "Our people demand complete and humiliating punishment of all aggressors. All officials stand firmly behind their leader and people until this goal is achieved. No negotiations with America have taken place. Fake news is intended to manipulate financial and oil markets and to escape the quagmire in which America and Israel are trapped." So
Yeah.
that's the messaging that has come out.
There's so many conflicting sources from all over the place. And you covered this earlier on our Instagram and TikTok, right?
Yes, I did. I did.
Yeah.
So
So
definitely.
if any of you guys want more rapid news, Keith and I will be trying to make some stuff on Instagram and TikTok there. Again, anything that we cover, we're just going to cover the sources that we're finding, but always double check and fact check everything that we're saying because there's a lot of misdirection everywhere. That's like the only constant.
Yeah, dude, it's at this point, it's really hard to have even the slightest clue. So I saw this piece here coming out about everything, and this right here almost gave me chills to the level at which this was just something that we've talked about here on the show. So let's talk about it real quick.
Biggest retailers rolling out digital shelf price labels for all its stores by the end of the year. Walmart says that having digital price labels will help its store personnel do their jobs better and more effectively and ensure that prices are more uniform across different geographies. But the move is somewhat controversial as some are worried that having the ability to quickly adapt price labels on the fly could lead to things like demand-based pricing that shifts prices for higher or lower depending on how changing dynamics happen for supply chains. Now, some lawmakers are already in the process of introducing legislation to ban the use of digital shelf labels or DSLs. America's
Fascinating concept there.
Yeah. Pretty predictable, I think, that it was something like that would be tried. And I'm glad that it's being said out loud. But yeah, of course it's going to go there.
So in places like Venezuela in the past, um, you've had instances of hyperinflation. And in fact, this is all going to tie in a little bit because I keep on trying to basically talk to people about what's happening here and how I don't think people are paying enough attention to um, the fact that, yes, there's this war happening. Yes, the Strait of Hormuz is closed. Uh, but this is going to affect everyone, and it is affecting everyone. And I wanted to quickly tell a story here about someone that I met when I was in Miami. I had a time in my life where I would go around and talk to everybody, whatever. And I was in a Publix one time, and I was talking to this guy, and I was like, so I would do this stupid, silly thing where I would go around and be like, man, I love Publix, like just being an absolute menace, right? And this guy was like, you know what? I love Publix too. And I was like, really? Like, why do you love Publix so much? Because like I'm
I'm
being an
trolling.
idiot.
Yeah.
And then this guy was like, well, I'm from Venezuela. And in Venezuela, I can't go into a grocery store and have everything that I need just sitting on the shelves. And he's like, because of that, I absolutely love this place. And it was just this interesting moment where I was like, oh, snap. Like, that's a very interesting thing. And he told me about how there's times where essentially there's rationing that happens at the grocery store.
Mhm.
And so if you need to get groceries, you might actually have to also wait in line for hours. Like you have to basically take off of work for the day to go to the grocery store, which imagine you're already struggling. You get to take off a day of work to go to the grocery store and get groceries. And so you're sitting in line, you're waiting for your groceries, you get to the shelves, and then the thing that you needed wasn't even there.
Mhm.
So I was telling that story for a particular reason, and I totally forgot what it was. But okay. So the other thing is in Venezuela, you'll go to a restaurant, you'll sit down, and this is just anecdotal stuff.
Mhm.
You sit down, you pay before you eat, because if you don't pay before you eat, then the price, because of hyperinflation, might have changed by the time you were sitting there. And so just this idea
It's
of
absurd.
real-time pricing, digital labels that change the price as you go, central bank digital currencies that allow you to have these types of mechanisms in your pricing and your taxation as well. Imagine being able to tax and subsidize things in real time based upon supply and demand. Like we've been talking about this, guys.
If this gets to where it could be, like, you wouldn't even have to file your tax return. They would just, like, either take money out or give you know what I'm saying? Which is
Yep.
crazy, and they'll always pitch the good things associated with it, like, "Oh, you won't have to file your taxes. We'll do it for you." Do you know what I'm saying? But it's like, okay, well, is this actually good? What else is this connected to? And the whole point we've talked about on the show before where, like, industrial farming was kinda like the beginning of the whole control mechanism because right? We are very spoiled and privileged to have access to the food that we do, but it's contingent on that, right? So then if you take that away and that's what we're used to, then we're forced to accept whatever comes next. Right. So like this does feel very coordinated and artificial. So that's like, okay, look how good you had it. If you want this to stay, you got to jump into this new system.
Hey, who knows how it
I
goes?
don't I don't know anything. But it certainly seemed if I was trying to get people to sign up for something that was so radically different, I'd make them think it was their idea or like needed.
For sure, man. For sure. Um, oh man, I found the article finally.
You found it? Hell yeah.
So let me share some of this with you guys. So there was a time where I would go out and talk to everyone, and I would document the things that I went through as I did it. So I did one of these. This was in 2022. Why Americans should love Publix. And
Wait, did you write this?
yeah, I wrote this. This is
That's
hilarious,
so
bro.
awesome.
Um,
What was your thesis for why?
for why I started this.
No, like why Publix?
Well, this was just something that happened. So the
Oh,
goal was to write about whatever happened in the day.
got it.
Because like I would learn something, right, from just
Okay.
talking to everybody all day.
Totally. Yeah, yeah.
And this was the thing of the day. It was like why Americans should love
Oh,
Publix.
so this was just a story. Okay, okay, got it.
Yeah, it's just a
Got it
story.
now. Okay. I thought this led to you saying why you loved Publix so much, and that's why you had the conversation with the guy, but this makes sense.
Oh, no, 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 no. Yeah, yeah, no. And then so a guy helped me find what I was looking for. I said, he said, I think I'm going to take all of these, but then he left one for me. And then this guy was like, yeah, they just always have everything you're looking for. So I was like, wait a minute, let me ask him, like, what's going on? He responded, me too. And then he talked about being in Venezuela. He walked in the Publix. It's like walking through an amusement park for me. And then continued to describe how different the grocery shopping experience was in Venezuela in comparison to our shared experience in Publix. Went on to research it, and then I found all that information that I just talked about essentially. But anyway, so this is out there on my LinkedIn out there. If anybody wants to go find some ignorance, just some funny stuff like that. But Anyways, point is the situations that we see in other countries, if anything, can kind of be a little bit of like a signal of what's possible. Okay. What is possible when you're thinking about the different types of situations that can unfold in the world? And I've been like really trying to like communicate to people like, guys, I don't think that we're paying enough attention to this and that it's actually going to potentially affect you. And then one of the things that comes to my mind is that when you go out into the world and you think about why your life has always been so cool and you're straight as an American, for instance, the only real actual like existential reason for that is because you were born where you were born,
Mhm.
right? And then when you think about that for someone else who was born where they were born, where they wake up and it's just bombs getting dropped all over the place, right? Like those things, because there's no real reason, existential reason why your life is different, your life can also look like that.
Totally. I say it in Canada all the time, man. The same thing, right? Where we've had a very similar situation to you guys in terms of privilege of just access to things, not having any sort of serious conflict, and like that things can change. Like this is a dynamic situation. So yeah, I would agree with a lot of what you're saying. It's scary, but it's also real. So you can't just put your head in the sand. On the note of Publix, have you ever had a pub sub?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, at college I got into the pub sub grind.
Where in the world is Publix? Publix, I believe is it just Florida?
That's a good point. It's in the southeast of the United States. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Publix is a big a big, chain over here in the
Yeah, it's
US.
a grocery. It is pretty expensive too. I saw someone else say, "Yeah, the prices of things make sure that things stay on the shelf," and it's true, man. It's pretty expensive. I remember being in there, being like, "What the heck? I thought groceries were cheap here, man." And no,
Yeah, no, Publix is like the low high-end grocery
hmm
store. It's like a step down from a Whole Foods.
hmm totally.
But, yeah, so, moving forward, we can I can get some reactions from you on some stuff out here, man.
Let's see it. As the
What'd you see in the chat? You see something in the chat?
no, you're good. You're good.
Okay. Alright, so this is, Professor Jiang apparently making a statement. I don't like how this is super low fidelity. At first, I was like, "Is this even real?" But we'll see.
I went and watched the full thing to find it.
Okay, okay. Here's Professor Jiang, y'all.
And okay,
Tell us
so
about game theory.
yeah, so here's my grand plan. Okay, my plan eventually is start my own religion, and so I'm using this YouTube platform in order to test certain ideas that I will need for this new religion, and that's why I switch around a lot. So if you're a fan of certain topic, you can get annoyed because then like next semester I'll teach something completely different.
Mhm.
But again, my goal is to be the Messiah. My goal is to
That's crazy.
so I'm going through the R&D phase of my life right now.
Yeah, this is you can do travel to Gnostic India as you could have like a Japanese brother, whatever the fuck they say Christ did, Gnostic with the internet now.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
no. I mean, like I will eventually go these places, but like at this point, I'm just trying to innovate with the framework, and then eventually I'll go and spread my message like Paul did. I'll travel like Paul, the apostle.
So, Ben, what's your thoughts on that?
It's I don't know if is he saying that to troll, right? Because he knows that the reaction that he would get off of that, or is he serious? I see arguments for both.
When you watched it in context, how did it feel?
Still could have gone either way because the tone of the conversation is such a jokey podcast. Like they're it's almost like satire, like the level of conspiracy in which they'll indulge in, right? And so also Jiang's a fan of that guy apparently.
Okay.
So like,
Okay.
could there be some performative elements to this, right?
For sure, man. I mean, but at the same time, right? Like, to an extent, I mean, he sits in a position where he's definitely got a lot of data. He's got imagine the comment section
Mm-hmm.
and how much information that you would get from that on what people are agreeing with, what they disagree with, what they really think. I mean,
I'm seeing people saying he's got to be trolling. I'm seeing people say I don't know. Like it's,
I don't know, man.
it could go either way, which is concerning.
It's the thing is like if he wanted to start his own, like what he's doing would make sense. You know what I'm
Yeah. Oh,
saying?
totally. It's the modern day equivalent of what a lot of these religions started as, or what we're told they started as.
So
Right. So it's tough. I still want to have him on because I'm from here, right? So his story about him living in Toronto, I'm probably one of the only people that he could talk to that would be able to ask him questions that would be able to discern if that's real or not.
of all of the Torontans, you're the only one.
Who does a podcast like this? I'm saying
Okay.
every other show he's going to go on, everyone would just say, "Oh yeah, you live in Canada, right? I grew up here. I can ask the questions of like, okay, is that real or is that fake?"
Right.
Because everyone's just like taken for like said that that he lived in Toronto, and like I have no reason not to believe him, but also no one has asked him anything about Toronto. Like
No,
everything
that's fair.
everything that he's currently said would be very easy to just say.
That's a good point. I've got a couple clips here for you guys. I think this is going to be some fun stuff here. So this is from the Gray Area. These guys have a podcast. I think it's like a branch of the Alex Jones
Sphere.
umbrella. Yeah.
Don't give a shit about the war because it doesn't affect. I'm in favor of the draft because right now Americans don't give a shit about the war because it doesn't affect them. As soon as you start drafting their sons and daughters, they're going to find out what's going on with the war real fucking fast, and it is not going to go well for the government. This ain't Vietnam. Like, you got to remember, the thing that made the draft work wasn't the threat of punishment. Like, there were people that were willing to go to prison. You could go to Canada. You could go to Mexico. You could like fake it. It was social shame. It was the dishonor that you would feel knowing that your neighbor was sent, but you didn't go. Like, that was a holdover. That was a holdover from the previous generations. We don't feel that anymore. The only way to get people to, join the draft now is like do what Ukraine does and literally like kidnap them and just like be like, we'll punish not just you, but your family if you try to flee. But like, that's why I sort of sarcastically say I'm in favor of the draft because they're never going to institute the draft. The instant they institute the draft, all they're doing in people's minds is telling them you're either fighting us or you're fighting for us. And people will go, all right, I'm fighting you, motherfucker. Come get me. Like, the American government does not want to put that dichotomy out there for people to go either sacrifice your son for Israel or else you're an anti-American person that hates the government. People are like, okay, then I'm that thing. I'm that second thing. I hate you. I'm not fighting for you. If I'm going to waste my life fighting somebody, it's going to be you in DC. Like, that's what people feel. So.
What do you think of that, man?
Well, you're in America. You know boots on the ground a lot better than I do in terms of how people feel. But from my distant social listening of it all, it seems like he's not too far off.
Yeah, I really don't think people would be going for it. But maybe also I'm just in my own corner of the internet. I mean, I just don't even think people know that we're at war. You know what I'm saying?
It's hard to tell because everything is so siloed. But I think also they're going to have a hard time of saying, okay, you could push people to go to war because there was something to come home to. What's worth fighting for these people right now? Like most the average person, what are you coming home to?
Right. That's a really good point.
How does it get? Obviously, we're very spoiled being in the first world, but like we're things are getting worse here too.
Mm-hmm.
So what am I coming home to? What am I fighting for?
Right. That's a really good point. You think about those like old movies back in the day of people going off to war. Like they literally had wife and kids, that they would be coming home because people were getting married and like having families, right? But
yeah. And there's not been any of the huge riots over all this stuff, like the Epstein files and all these things yet, because it's not impacted people like directly that much, right? Where this would 100% impact everyone directly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I really hope it doesn't come to be that way. And what's it called again? Simon Dixon, he thinks this is all theatrics.
Interesting.
Yeah, so his thesis is that not too far off from the things that we've said to a degree of this is really just to shift the world order to a new system. Essentially, he articulates it far more eloquently than I did. But I definitely recommend going to watch his recent ones. We hope to have him on here in the future, but he definitely breaks it down. I saw someone else saying, I think it was Disc Replay, or they said Simon Dixon could put a glass eye to sleep. So I guess he's not a big fan.
A glass eye to sleep.
Like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So his stuff's definitely drier But I will say, I don't think there's too many people that understand the things that he says. Like, I don't know how else you'd get it that way. And Sir Knight says you can't believe everything Simon Dixon says. And I'm not saying that I do. I'm just saying that he's one of the people that I do spend time listening to here and there.
Yeah, I mean, he's a super interesting person to listen to. I realized when I was about to share, I shared him with someone. I was like, "Oh, this sounds like crazy," to someone
Which
from the
one?
outside. Just the whole concept of all of the things that he says about like the different factions and stuff. Like I didn't even realize like how off the deep end that would sound to like the average person. But
Totally. But at this
yeah.
point, like, I think after the Epstein files, I think a lot of people's foundation
Yes.
of things got thrown out the window.
And it's so funny because that's the exact person, Ben, that sorry, like the person that I shared that with, it was, we were having those conversations, actually.
Mhm.
That was what I was like, you should watch this because that was happening and his whole worldview was changing. And I'm like, it's just such a funny thing in that friend group because like we've got multiple spectrums in this friend group. We've got like me where I'm like, like I'm more conspiracy theory than not, but I'm still like reasonable and I can say like, all right, but like, come on, like let's, chill out. But then we've got another friend in the group that's like full on, like whatever's being said, like he's sending that to the group chat and he's like, look, this is what
This
Charlie
is
Kirk
fact.
died for. Like, da, da, da. Like and then the other one is like, bro, like, lived in New York for a while, lived in LA for a while. So he's like, more like left leaning. And so he, for instance, like during the election was like, bro, like, no, like, duh, duh. And they would just go back and forth to where the whole thing just got super heated. But my point was, for the guy who's like, imagine like the super far right guy, let's just use that as a label. It's not what he is, but let's
Of
just use that
course.
as a label.
Yeah.
He's been sending like conspiracy theories for years. Right. We just been talking about that since we were in middle school. Like
So
that
this
was
is his
just what
time
we
to
talked
shine.
about. This is his time, bro.
His whole life has been vindicated.
He's like, bro, I've been telling y'all this whole time.
You didn't listen to me then. You got to listen to me now. And that's where things can get too far the other way too.
Exactly. So yeah, I just wanted to illustrate that.
That's super fair.
Because it's super interesting to see how, yeah, now he does have to start to like question some stuff though.
Yes, because you can get into that confirmation bias the other way too, where okay, these few things were right. Was that part of the plan too?
Yep.
Right? So they always do that, man. There's always some truth in the shit that gets rolled out, but they mix in enough crazy so that you can't trust everything. Cross Central says, what's he said that was wrong though? I don't know if he said anything wrong. I think referring to Simon Dixon.
Mhm.
I don't have access to the primary sources that often he's referring to or anecdotes that he's referring to, right? So I can never say for sure that anyone's right or wrong because I have no freaking clue.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of Simon Dixon, that's another thing, because like this other guy, imagine the super left wing guy, we're just using labels, like he needs data. He needs that for him to believe anything. And I was like, bro, like, does it make sense though in your head? You know what I mean?
Data's also pretty falsifiable.
100%. And that's why it's a fun group, because we can just go back and forth forever on stuff like that. It's like, bro, like, you use your same points, I'll use your points against you. Like,
yeah, it's never ending.
But anyways, yeah.
What else we got next?
So this next one, a little bit on the conspiracy side of things. Let's hear what this guy has to say about the war happening right now. Did it start a long time ago?
Patrick, we were noticing on our boats, on our what's known as an AIS system, where you basically, it's like a GPS for boats, that in 2020 and 2021, while everyone was fighting about COVID, there was literally a wall of Navy ships from Maine to Florida and from Washington down to almost the Baja Peninsula. They walled off the entire country at that point. No one knew about it.
China too. It happened in China. Everything globally sat. It wasn't just our borders. It happened in China. It happened where everything is going on right now in Iran. It literally happened everywhere. They sat thousands and thousands of ships off the coast. Literally all of the supply chain stopped.
To me, that's the biggest clue that that's when you actually went to war, going back to the chart.
Thank you.
Because if you were entering, if our theory is correct that in 2020 and is when you really entered the kinetic war, that's when everything went hot. Well, in a kinetic war is exactly when you would stop foreign ships from coming into your country. That's exactly the point in which that would happen.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit, make sure everybody's caught up. I'm the audience ombudsman. COVID the COVID narrative is deployed. Donald Trump says, okay, we got some special medical ships to treat people. One off the coast of California, one off the coast of New York City. And you're saying in reality, it wasn't just one ship. It was a freaking mega fleet.
Armada.
Okay, an armada. And that armada was part of a just kicked off kinetic warfare operation designed to embargo all trade.
Well, think about it, Patrick. Back up a minute. March 27th of 2020, Donald Trump wrote Executive Order 13912, I believe, that authorized the calling up to 1 million federal reservists and National Guard. That was March 27th. 4 days later, he does the press conference with Milley talking about basically military operations. That's the date he points to with the chart. From there on forward, you saw our entire country blockaded on each side by Navy ships, and you saw other ships stopped from being allowed to come to the United States. I don't know, everybody else, you tell me what's going on there.
So anyways, these guys were kind of speculating on whether or not this conflict actually started a long time ago.
That fascinating theory. I don't know how we would substantiate it, but
I have no idea.
I found it entertaining. I love thought experiments, right? I think where we go too far is that most people are conducting their thought experiments through someone else from a 6-second clip or like a 2-minute clip, right? That's where it gets dangerous. And then it gets parroted with Game of Telephone happens where they think this is fact they're repeating. That's what's so dangerous, man. Because a lot of people don't have the time. It's exhausting to do what we do in terms of trying to get to the closer form of truth. Like that's not an easy thing to do. It's a lot of time.
No, for sure, man.
Like that's like I have to like my consumption diet is like across so many different things because I want to try to find people who know that it's highly unlikely they know each other when they're talking, right? So to do that around certain subjects is like difficult to do because I even try to do that deliberately so that I will not get too biased one way or the other.
100%, man. And then anything in the chat you see?
Question for you, Keith, says, do young men still have to register for selective service? I don't even know what that is.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's just like when you turn 18, you're supposed to like basically declare that you will go if you get drafted. So yeah, I'm pretty sure you do, my brother. So if you're above 18, be careful out there.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. And
Moving
then next piece we have is this Fruit Island thing. Have you been hearing about this?
Fruit Island?
So there's a TikTok account behind the AI-generated Fruit Love Island series that has over 3 million followers in 9 days.
Yes.
Cool. So I haven't really seen this until just now. Honestly, I looked it up and I can see that there's something going on here, so I can play some of it.
Welcome to Fruit Love Island, where 8 single fruits are about to flirt, fight, and trust. Things get messy fast. Okay, this villa is insane. I'm not leaving here single. I just hope the guys are hot.
I'm here to have fun and probably break a few hearts. Bro said the quiet part out loud. I just hope the girls like nice guys.
Okay, the banana guy is definitely my type. Wait, I saw him first.
So, which one of you is the troublemaker?
I could be. He might not survive both of us.
Oh, this is going to be messy.
Islanders, it's time for the first coupling ceremony. The girls will choose which guy they want to couple up with.
Okay, so
it's hard to watch, man.
That's what's going on.
But those shows are so popular, like the dating shows.
Right. Yes.
So, and Sir Night said he looked into some stuff based on what those guys were saying about the ships. Said, so a quick search shows some naval ships experienced a COVID-19 outbreak and had to be quarantined. I guess that's why they're referring to why they were there. And in 2021, a record-breaking number of container ships were anchored off the coast of California.
Interesting.
Super interesting. What else do you have to say about this art?
I'm trying to find the account that has all these followers that these people are saying, but I'm struggling to find the account.
How many do they say they had?
It says that they have 3 million followers in 9 days. But I'm seeing
that's cap.
120,000 followers.
Yeah, I'm seeing more like 50. I see 53K. Official AI Fruit Love Island. I think, yeah, maybe they got taken down or something.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
I'm seeing a ton of pages now. Fruit Love Island. Fruit Love Island, another one. Maybe they're talking like combined numbers too, because people are not all that creative out there, Keith. If people see something working, they will sprint to do the same thing.
That's true. Super true. So, anyways, saw that going on. There was some reports of like how much money that they've been making as well, being some crazy numbers.
Yeah, it's another thing too, where when people are so desperate to get back what their social platforms kind of used to be, like that's another thing that how else do you stop these kinds of things without the digital ID? Where like the spamming of the content,
Oh,
like
right.
they'll have to have some sort of method to prove proof of human, and then also limit how many people things can post, because I think that there'll be platforms that emerge that you can't post that often. I think there'll be a lot of ways that people get creative to try to stop this. Looks like Sausage Party to me. Yeah, very similar art style.
Somebody said, my dad listens to Swag Jones 2223 said, my dad listens to AI stories on YouTube and is addicted. That AI voice makes me cringe.
Yeah, I get a feeling too. When I hear it, I'm like, I don't like it. It makes me feel uneasy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's so interesting, man, that especially the older people, like they don't care that much if they even know any better. It's just content, right? Um, so I don't even know what to say.
Well, I think people are kind of feeling like, okay, all the rules are going to be rewritten, so why don't I just go break all of them?
Right.
What else do you got?
Moving forward, we got the TVPN guys over there having David Sinra, who is the Founders Podcast founder, making a statement about a guy named Toby Lutka, who is the founder of Shopify.
Yeah, it's in Canada. I think it's Canada's like biggest company like that within like the internet world.
Facts, man.
Toby Luque was very fascinating to me because he's your favorite founder's favorite founder. So everybody that you admire, you ask who they admire, and they'll bring up Toby. And what they like about him is that he thinks through every single thing independently. So therefore, he has all these beliefs that are not correlated with one another, which means when you have a conversation with him, you are unable to predict what his response to your question or your statement is going to be. And that we talked for 4 hours. So we talked for a half hour before we recorded. Then we recorded for 3 hours. We edited down to whatever it was. Then we recorded for another 30 minutes, or talked for another 30 minutes after. And I could have kept talking. I was like, dude, I got to catch a flight. I'm going to have dinner with Charlie Rose that night.
Oh, yeah.
Like I had to like fly down there. It's like we would have kept talking.
Yeah.
Like he just blew my mind. And one thing he said that I think would be interesting to your audience is he believes, and I think he said this on the episode, that we're going to look back on the year 2026 as the year that every single business in the world was up for grabs. That AI is coming for everything. Every single other business will have to be reimagined. And you're going to look back at this is the year where it should have been obvious to you that you can rebuild the AI native version of whatever exists out there.
Mm-hmm. I agree with a lot of that.
It's almost exactly what you were just saying a second ago.
Yeah. Well, people really underestimate the significance of incentive structures in both directions in terms of how detrimental it can be to an organization and how amazing it can be to one when they're aligned. Right. And I think that people aren't considering the human side of all of these big companies and how much people will fight this. Right. And because like, people are just saying like, oh, we'll just get all the people that we have to use these and it'll supercharge them. It's like, yeah, of course. You think they're going to, with everything they're consuming on the internet about how this will eventually just full on replace them, you think they won't fight that? I'm hard pressed to believe that.
Fair, man. Moving forward, we've got a clip to react to from Instagram. This was a super interesting viral clip here.
The younger generation doesn't want to work anymore. They're so lazy. They just need to work harder. No, we just don't want to get fucking scammed. Let's start there, okay? Leave it exactly how it is. Let it sit in the room, what I just said. Let it breathe. Because that sentence right there is the entire argument. Y'all say we're lazy. We say we watch our parents and grandparents work for 30, 40, 50 fucking years straight and still panic when the rent is due. Y'all say we don't have grit. We say we saw people give their youth to companies and corporations and institutions that replaced them with a fucking email. Y'all say, just work harder. Harder than what? Harder than juggling 2 jobs and still needing roommates at 30? Harder than degrees that cost 6 figures and lead to entry-level jobs that want 5 years of experience? harder than productivity levels higher than any generation before us, while wages crawl like it's 1997. And this video is not about work ethic, it's about trust. The older generation grew up in a system where the handshake meant something, where pensions existed, where one income could hold down an entire household and an entire family, where loyalty was at least rewarded sometimes. We grew up in layoffs, recessions, housing crashes, shit-ass economies, student debt traps, medical bills that look like ransom notes, and a digital world that monetizes our attention before we're even old enough to fucking drink. And you're shocked that we're skeptical? Bro, y'all call it laziness. We call it pattern recognition. We have watched corporations get bailouts while families got evicted. We have watched CEOs make 300 times the salary of the average worker and still talk about tightening belts. We have watched internships demand full-time labor for experience. We have watched the cost of living sprint while wages jog. And then we get told we just need to grind more? No, we don't. Listen, we don't mind working. What we mind is being exploited. There's a difference. We want to build lives, man, not just fucking resumes. And if that makes us lazy in the eyes of people who equate exhaustion with virtue, then so be it. So fucking be it. But history always labels boundary setters as weak before it calls them wise. So here's the truth. We will work, we will build, we will grind when it makes sense, but we will not blindly sacrifice ourselves to systems that refuse to evolve. The younger generation doesn't want to work anymore. They're so lazy. They just need to work harder. No, we just don't want to get scammed. That's not rebellion, okay? That's not us being rebellious at all, okay? That's us being aware.
Keith, how you feeling?
Well, I just love the dialogue in the chat. People said, Hard Reset said facts all over the place. Lucas Hawkins said found dead 2 weeks later. Hard Reset was he really?
Just kidding.
Like,
No, I was just kidding.
But no, I mean, straight facts. Such a fascinating thing. We've really watched, for instance, I've talked about '08, like watching the consolidations, watching the crunch. And for me, it's almost my exact story. It's like, well, I don't ever want to be in that position.
Totally.
So,
Yeah, even as someone, I knew I was going to be an entrepreneur from like the age so young because I just asked enough questions at the age of like 10 where I realized I was like, my life will suck if I don't do this. It was easy. It was easy enough to see, right? Because I saw that every person that I ever talked to about like, they're like, oh, do you like what you do? Even the ones that said yes, it wasn't about that they liked their job. It was that they liked the fact that it made them rich or had status.
Mm-hmm.
So then I quickly saw, I was like, okay, so this thing is very, very much broken. So I didn't care about school. I didn't care about my grades. I didn't care about shit because I was like, this shit is broken. Like, why would I care to perform in a show that I know is fucked?
Yep.
So that I think people are just coming to that conclusion now. And it is, the incentives are so broken. Like the systems are so unbelievably broken. And I do think that builders that are younger have felt the pain, where I'm hopeful that this next wave of builders, because you can pretty evenly redistribute wealth to a degree if people have more skin in the game. Because there's going to be so many more problems solved through AI and things of that nature, where as long as the people who are actually building it are compensated fairly, a lot of it could be improved.
Yeah, man. I agree with you.
I think they can even pass laws, man, where like people have to give some sort of upside to the people who are working in the company. Because then, like, let's say that you don't want to do that because you'd be diluting everything else. It's like, okay, then is that person needed? Like, there's so many things that you could play into. And I think that too much of the wealth is consolidated to way too few people, and the system's built like that.
Yeah, systematic change is going to have to come. People are going to, for instance, they're not going to go to the draft if you try to draft.
No, but also like the answer isn't to tap out, in my opinion, right? Where a lot of people are like just saying, okay, it is so screwed. And instead of saying, how do we fix it? They're just talking more about how it's so screwed. Right. And not many people are talking about solutions here because, like, case in point, like that guy was a fantastic video. He was very eloquent and the points he dropped were amazing. But I think we need more people who are the follow-up of that. Okay, now what? Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so interesting too that like the incentive is to do that, right? Because now you get paid eventually to just do that.
Yeah. So ironically, you can get paid very well for talking about how bad it is.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Like every problem that we see, are flawed systems and incentive structures. Right? Because even like a lot of people who think like, oh, they control the media. It's like you don't need to control the media if you control the money, and you control the access to the money. You as a downstream effect control everyone else's behavior. Like money is broken.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, man. Here's what I got next. In the U.S., we have a partial government shutdown, and so the TSA has been
Another one.
Yeah, so it's been going on this whole time, right?
Wow.
So there was like a lapse for like 1 week that changed things, but yeah, there was 1 week where the government was fully open, but then it was immediately back again. So, anyways, because of that, the TSA, security at airports is getting backed up. There's like a bunch of jokes about how there's a line out to the next state, and this is someone performing at the ATL airport to entertain people. It looks like they paid someone to come and perform. So, situation there is not ideal either. That's another thing. Like the entire government in the U.S. is shut down at the moment. So this
seriously?
Not the excuse me. There's a partial government shutdown, right? So that creates much more massive issues on top of everything that's already happening, right? So just wanted to point that out. I've got one that might hit a little bit closer to home for you, Ben. This guy, David Folk, looks to be pointing to some sort of research that has been done that says that Canada has observed the largest decline in happiness in the world alongside with the UK. And this goes back from 2018.
I felt it, man. We're so politicized here. Like, and when your only high ground is like moral superiority as your country is collapsing around you, like I feel like it's inevitable. You guys aren't much ahead of us, though. It looks like yours is pretty bad, too.
Yeah, we're right there, right with you. That's funny. I didn't even realize that. I saw it written down there, but yeah, we're right there with you. So, yeah, it's a fascinating thing to watch occur here. Moving forward, Tony Robbins was on the Iced Coffee Hour with Graham Stephan and his guy. Made a quick or interesting comment about like the different seasons of life. Let's listen to it.
If you're 0 to, say, 21 years old, you're in springtime. Tell me, is things hard to grow in spring or easy?
Easy.
Very easy, right? If you start a business in springtime, you think you're a genius. You're full of all it is you're in the right place at the right time. And when the season changes, that's what thins it out, right? 0 to 21 is the springtime because you primarily, like I had to go to work when I was 14, but I didn't have to make the mortgage, right? I had to help my family, but I didn't make the mortgage. So you're still being taken care of to some extent, whether you like it or not, some. You're being taught things. From 22 to 42 is like your summertime. That's where both of you are, right? And that summertime, it's testing. And the generation that's in that stage always thinks things are unjust and unfair. Always. You can look at over 100 years and you hear the same examples over and over again. And so during that time, you finally say, I don't know if I believe all the crap I was told. I'm going to go test my own world. I think they're full of crap. Plus, when you're 22, 25, 27, 28, you know you're going to be a billionaire, and you know you're going to be president of the United States, and you know you're going to have 100 relationships with everybody simultaneously, and everybody's going to be happy. By the time you're 35, you discover that isn't working so well. You have a hard time with one. You're not a billionaire yet. It hasn't quite worked out the way you have, and so you get humbled, right? That 22 to 42 range is the toughest time. All studies about happiness, it's the toughest time because you're trying to figure out who you are. You're trying to figure out, prove to yourself, maybe to the world also, but to yourself who you are. And as you go through it, you're going to go through kind of the hero's journey. You're going to have stuff that hits you you're not prepared for, and it's going to feel overwhelming, and you're going to think, oh my God, I don't know how to deal with this.
Just wanted to point out that idea of just like the different seasons that you're going through in your life, and just recognizing that that's totally just how things go, and it's fine for that. And yeah, and also that idea of what we've talked about it today a little bit as well. It's like, when you hit early like that, it doesn't mean that you've got the whole thing figured out.
Totally.
Right.
No, I think that's huge. Your priorities just change. And I think social media really kind of warped that whole thing too, because you can so quickly go and see things that, when you saw celebrities or super rich people on the TV, but everyone else around you wasn't talking like that or making you feel like that's the norm, it's easy to say, okay, I could work to that, but that's super not normal. But every time you go on your screen, you see something to the contrary. People just, you can't distinguish. Like people, if I see it on my screen every day, it's got to be normal. I'm seeing it every day. That's normal.
Right. Yep.
So that's like the debauchery of everything else too, and the horrible advice for relationships that is out there. Yeah, it's all of it, man.
Speaking of that, this is a perfect transition. We had Clavicular have a statement that started to go a little bit viral. Here, let's hear what he had to say.
Like, let's say you.
So this is about height maxing. Apparently, I don't really fully understand it. I think you put stuff like in your shoes, like in your soles.
Yeah, so any sort of maxing is basically trying to do different hacks or tricks to make that part of you, your appearance, the best, or personality the best, whatever. And so for this is height maxing. So trying to deceive girls or guys, whatever you're into, that you're taller than you actually are. And this is the lengths that he'll go to create that illusion. And
Did you see this already?
Yeah.
Okay, you might have even sent it to me. All right.
Height max, you get a girl, you bring her home. How do you get away with, like, because you're gonna drop in height?
Right. So what you could either do is you could wait until you're in the bed to kick your shoes off, and that way she won't be able to perceive the height because you're laying down, you're horizontal. But if you are forced to take off your shoes for whatever reason, you can sag your pants down so that they conceal your heels, and you could tiptoe max. Is a good method.
Like, let's say you height max, you get a girl, you bring her.
Okay, so many things pop up. I'm like, first of all, it's from the sounds of it, he's thought about this situation, or he's just gotten so good at trolling. Because that's crazy. Tiptoe maxing is absurd.
Yeah, that's madness. But very funny, very funny. Definitely, like you said with this guy, he
plays it out.
he knows how to be funny at the very minimum.
It's also concerning that he's also a real thing though too, right? And now it's getting even worse because he keeps on getting these girls, and I don't even know if it's true, but he keeps getting girls on his stream to like cheat on their boyfriends or whatever.
Oh wow.
And then they're kind of like shaming the girls for doing that, and then it just continues to repeat because there's so many people I think he's in Miami, and so yeah, it's bad.
There's a couple of questions in the chat that I was seeing.
So we will definitely have. So Lucas is saying we should do a meet and greet. We'll do in-person episodes at some point for sure. We just need to build the businesses and the show to a point where we can do that, and we'll try to find local venues that can make sense. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, it said. Oh, dang. Lucas said so Ben can get a taste. Well, Ben is a veteran.
Yeah, I've had many tastes of America. So yeah, I've spent a decent amount of time there. That was really also the place that my dad would take us to if we ever went on a vacation. It was almost always Florida. And so I'd been going there every few years from when I was a little kid, and then a lot more since now I can decide. We'll meet up at Ponderosa. Yeah,
What is that?
It's this buffet that I talked about. I don't know why, but when I was a fat kid, it was when I went there, and then we had the buffet Ponderosa, and I was just blown away by the sheer options on that buffet.
Okay.
It was crazy.
Gotcha.
That blew my mind because we don't really have that many buffets here. Like we do, but not like you guys.
It's
land of the excess.
Yeah.
Good
All right.
memory,
So,
though.
couple memes into the pure funny stuff. Douglas Bonaparte said, Trump, we're having great talks with Iran. Iran said, we're not having any talks. Dow plus 600. Anyways, market's just going to go up.
Yeah, because it's all that.
There was this clip, man, from Jon Stewart, but I don't know if I can play that, can I, Ben?
Why?
You don't think it'll potentially lead to a copyright problem?
So we are allowed to react to things. So like this, as long as we're reacting, and especially if you keep it small, it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, yeah, because that's the one thing I was thinking too, to try to keep it small. But this dude had me rolling, bro. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm gonna go for it, Ben.
Escalating tensions in the Middle East. I must applaud the president for stepping back from the cliff of escalation and engaging Iran in productive talks.
Iran has responded, its state media saying there are no talks.
Well, now we're in the uncomfortable position of who to believe. Normally in this situation, I think we'd all be inclined to, in some measure, not trust the pronouncements coming from this theocratic and corrupt regime. Iran. Talking about Iran. For clarity, I just want to, it's not Iran. We'd be inclined not to trust Iran. So let's give our president the benefit of the doubt and just probe a little deeper. Sir, you say we're having talks with Iran. Who did you talk to?
A top person.
A top person or the top person? The article really makes a huge difference here. Like the guy or some f***ing guy?
It's a little tough. We've wiped out everybody.
So a lower level guy who's been elevated to a higher echelon, a bottom who is now a top, versatile, but not stop it. Or I will rip your stuffed monkey in half. So you're talking to a guy, but not the top guy, not the supreme leader.
No, not the supreme leader, but the people that seem to be running it.
Again. Running it or seem to be running it. It's a big difference. Hey, where's our car? Oh, I gave it to the guy who seems to be the valet. He had a jacket, he was standing by the curb, seemed like a top guy, and he did take the car.
So that was the funnier parts for me, but crazy. I didn't even really watch that full interview, but just the idea of like this guy is sitting there saying like, talk to one of the top guys, seemed like he was running the place. Like, what?
He certainly seemed like he was in charge.
I guess people have to give him the transparency card, right? Like the man, to some degree here, right here, he seems to be telling some sort of a truth. He talked to somebody. We just don't know who it was. But yeah.
Hella interesting.
I usually don't find those types of things very funny. Like there's always, a gag of the week when it comes to him, and it's always something.
Yeah.
But that was actually pretty good.
I think it's the sheer size and scope of the problem that makes it crazy.
Facts.
Right? Thank you. Like if they're about to start a potential like world war, like I feel like we should know who we're talking to, Like it's not like you can claim like when you were kids and you used to post something stupid on your like Facebook or whatever, or you'd like tell someone you liked them on Facebook, you'd be like, oh, I was hacked. It's like,
right.
We can't really be doing that.
Oh man. All right. So this one, this guy from Australia was like, don't panic, guys.
Keep saying these things like, don't panic, urging Australians not to panic. And that's fine. Since that, I've just been so relaxed. But I just want to know, are you going to let us know, like, when we're allowed to start panicking? Like, is it when no cunt can get any fuel? And then, because there's no fuel for the trucks, there's nothing getting delivered to the shops. And because the farmers don't have fuel, there's no crops getting cut or fucking anything. Like, do we panic then? Or will you let us know a couple of days out and we can still panic together? What the fuck's going on?
That's fair.
But I'm relaxed because you said not to panic, so I'm not panicking. But yeah, I just want to know if you're going to hit us with a day we can panic on. Because I'll get into me panicking, mate.
I feel him. It's kind of like when you tell someone to calm down,
Yeah,
It
exactly.
has the opposite impact. Don't panic. Okay, I'm going to proceed to panic now.
Body might. I love how they use the C word so casually.
Oh, I
That's
love
so
it.
wild, bro.
It's the best, man. It's so good. But yeah, I also love their accent.
Yeah, it's perfect. This next one here is people who just spent $700 on the Mac Mini to run OpenClaw agents just to watch Claude launch the feature natively for $20.
Well, you have to know this was coming. Everyone who like sprinted out to try to learn this shit. It's like you got to prioritize your time on like, okay, let's follow the rate of change here. This is probably going to come to be an easier option very soon.
Yeah, man. Like you're gonna buy a whole machine. That just sounded like not a good idea. to
Yeah,
me.
that's why people are asking me like, Ben, did you set this up? I was like, no. They're like, why, man? I'm like, because what I could do with my time right now is inordinately more valuable than trying to figure this thing out that will be obsolete in a month.
Right. Yeah. So this guy said he was reading Dune and Frank Herbert was cooking. And it says in here, it's a quote, once men turned their thinking over to machines in the hope that this would set them free. But that only permitted other men with machines to enslave them. Thou shalt not make a machine in the likeness of a man's mind, Paul quoted. Alan said, at Grok, can you please explain this post and the quote in it? What should I understand about it? So, clearly.
What was Grok's response? Is that just the one
It's
picture?
a picture. Yeah, I don't actually know.
Got
This
it.
guy
That's
said, "This is art."
hilarious. That's so ironic.
So I'm sure the dude knew what he was doing was
Of
a joke,
course.
but definitely funny. And you see this all over the place. I've seen it in some of my posts. I see it on other people's posts. They're like using this as a way to like prove you wrong, right? Or to prove their point right. Like at
With
Grok, like
Grok?
tell this dude why he's wrong.
I've had people try to use it in an argument with me before.
Yeah.
Like you pulling out.
Oh,
and-
okay,
And
yeah.
then being like, let's see who ChatGPT agrees with, right?
Right.
I'm like, that's dangerous, first of all. And it didn't go it didn't go their way, too. So bro, they tried twice. Yeah, like it didn't on the first question, it didn't take their side, it took mine, and then they tried again, and it didn't take their side, it took mine. I'm like, you don't get 3.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
It was funny, man. There'll be a lot more of that, I'm sure, because I know Google it caused a lot of fights amongst people too, right? Now this is an
Yes.
evolution of that.
Exactly.
So be careful. If people are gonna try to pull that on you, like they're gonna naturally ask the question in a very biased way.
Of course. Yeah, that's the funny thing about actually the chat version, because yeah, you can really craft a message now.
Totally.
All right. So this guy said, Your Honor, I told Claude not to make any mistakes. So the joke here is in general, there's these memes that are going around like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like, Claude, like, tell my girlfriend I want to break up with her, make no mistakes. And it's like, bro, like, or even something in the physical world, like, Claude, go pick up my kids from school, make no mistakes.
Mhm.
And it's like, well, Claude is obviously not capable of doing that, right?
Also, what's a mistake?
And then that's the actual joke, right? Is what does that even mean? Is that even possible in any way? And so yeah. So anyway, so this guy said, Your Honor, I told Claude not to make any mistakes. And this is another thing that keeps on going on is in the legal field as well. There's a bunch of instances where lawyers are using ChatGPT. So I don't know if he's referring to that directly or not, but even in general, like you're just in court, imagine you're like, Your Honor.
Man, I said no mistakes, bro. Oh, you said no mistakes? Okay, you're good.
So yeah, Jim Cramer said very oversold on March 19th. This was the day before Trump was like, we're going to nuke everything in 48 hours, or not nuke everything, but he said, we're going to blow up your power plants in 48 hours or something like that. And then immediately the market sent lower. But we've talked about that before, so I thought that was worth sharing real quick. Although things have since reversed, to be fair. Another couple of things. Will Clemente said, honey, make sure we're budgeting for derivatives on agricultural commodities to hedge our grocery price exposure. Thought that was
Man, if the people who talk about Polymarket, if it was what they say that it is, it would be like this, which is obviously the joke.
Right.
But like the average person is so far removed from these things that they're trying to justify by saying shit like this. Like, this is a fantastic display of how ridiculous that is.
100%, man. Oh, this one was really good. All right.
And it's very cool. Isn't that great? Just went up yesterday. Wow. Think Joe Biden would do this? I don't think so. Do you think he'd think of it? Do you think he knows what it is? Wow. No, but
So I don't even know what that's actually from, but I thought that was pretty good.
That's super good.
Let me see. So there's this thing called LinkedIn Speak that's going around. It's like a translator that it takes your sentences and turns it into LinkedIn Speak. I don't know exactly where this came from. Did you see the origins of this thing?
No.
Okay. Well, anyways, Chase Passive Income, one of our favorites over here for the meme section.
He's good.
He said, I'm heading to prison for defrauding the elderly. And it translated into LinkedIn Speak to say, I'm excited to announce that I'm starting a new chapter focused on deep reflection and personal growth within a highly structured environment.
Bro, you know what's so funny, Keith? Is that like so many of the people that made fun of me for posting on social media will now post this shit. You know what I mean? I'm like, fuck
That's
you,
fair.
dude. You roasted the shit out of me for building my own business and all this stuff, and then you'll post this trash?
Right. That's super fair because it is that same archetype, right?
Yes.
That's funny. This one was pretty good. Trump summing up the situation with Iran.
Well, you know, I may have a plan or I may not, but how would I ever say that to a reporter? If I said that to a reporter, Marco would say, please, sir, let's bring you over to the helicopter immediately, right? No, I can't tell you that.
Did you hear the story about the shoes?
What about the shoes?
How Trump guesses, apparently, this is all secondhand, so fact check everything I say here. But apparently, Trump has these shoes that he's obsessed with, and he'll just buy them for everyone who works for him, but he guesses their sizes. So
Interesting.
So he'll just look at you and be like, Keith's the size 11 or whatever, right? And then he buys them and gives them the shoes. And apparently, this could all be AI, but apparently Rubio wore the shoes even though they're way too big for him.
Oh, okay. Interesting theory as to why Rubio's shoes are so big. That's hilarious. No, I haven't heard that one. So yeah, he may have a plan and he may not, he said. What a funny
Could go either way.
situation there. But yeah, guys, I think that's all of my memes for the day. Only other thing we could dive into is just looking back at the previous episode from last week. We had Andy Scheckman on, guys. For me, that was awesome.
That was great.
I'll say again, it was just like this moment of, dude, I listened to this guy and he was talking about the BIS. And I was like, wait a minute, this guy knows about the central bank digital currency experiments and he's not even in the crypto space. Like, this guy knows what's up. So you guys have been showing a little bit of love over here. Brandon McKellar said the first stream you caught live. Welcome to the gang.
Welcome.
We appreciate you coming through. Halfway through, this is my favorite guest. Thanks, Keith and Ben from Fish Monkey Sus. That's a crazy.
That's a wild name.
Crazy.
Bro, I see some of these people's usernames and I'm like, yo, I want to know the story behind this.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like, how does one get to that? I want to know.
Sure, bro.
It's awesome.
The QAZ said, what I love about gold and Bitcoin as a portfolio pairing is they both express a short in fiat, but they are somewhat inverse correlated. If Bitcoin failed tomorrow, gold would recover it. If the world decided to go Bitcoin, the gains would recover any gold losses.
That is a fairly decent perspective there.
I think it's very smart. Like, I definitely think that it makes sense to have both in your portfolio.
Oh,
you know?
I completely agree.
Let's see. Okay.
There's Thomas. Appreciate you.
Yep, as always, man. This is your first time hearing from Andy.
Cool.
And him and Charles have been some of your favorite guests so far.
We definitely hope to have them both on again in the future. But we got some more awesome guests coming up here soon too.
Oh yeah. In just a bit, mate.
April will be pretty insane.
Yeah, man. And then, oh yeah, because hold on, let me finish Thomas's comment. He said, "Really appreciate the work you two put in. Blows my mind that the show hasn't blown up yet. I know it will." And then Keith dropped the album. But we appreciate that. Definitely excited to see how things continue to develop. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
The Expedition 427 said, "People are here for the information scene, not the clickbaity thumbnail. No need to have swindler tactics."
And so I trolled him a bit. I said, "We're hiring a YouTube producer and strategist. Feel free to apply." And they said, "This makes sense." And then I said, "You didn't get the joke." And then the person said, "One-way banter."
It's someone else. I don't even know.
Yeah, I guess they're saying that how could they get the joke? But I feel like if you thought about that for 2 seconds, you would be able to get the joke.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting situation there.
And
but
I hear what he's saying. We're always trying different titles and thumbnails combinations. We're testing shit all the time. So my joke was more so, it's what I've been doing professionally for like 7 years. So for people who haven't grown YouTube channels to say, "Oh, this is how you do it," it's like, okay, show me how you did it.
For sure. And in general, with the thumbnails, we've talked about this a bit, right? We're trying to, the way that I look at it, let me just say what I think about me and my channel, how I do my channel.
Go for it.
I want you to click. I want you to click, brother. Whatever it is that's going to get you to click, because I know that once I get you there, I'm going to hit you with the good stuff.
Absolutely. 100%. And that's why we are constantly, like, I'm changing titles and thumbnails on videos on a daily basis. Like if I think I have a better way to approach it, or if I feel like the things have changed in the world, I'll adjust the title and thumbnail accordingly. But yeah, we hear what you're saying, and we're always doing different tests.
Yeah. And another thing that I saw someone commenting on this is probably driving them crazy. You're not crazy. Sometimes the titles of videos change for you.
Yes.
And the reason is because YouTube allows you to test 3 different titles at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's constantly rotating them. And then whichever one is the best in terms of the metrics that they use, Ben will argue that it's not the right metrics to use. They'll choose that one at the end. And sometimes it doesn't come to a conclusion. And sometimes it just keeps running the test.
Yes. And then I'm also doing more on top of that too. So yeah, you're not crazy at all. These will be changed all the time. I'm constantly monitoring the data on the back end and how swaps change, like the performance of things, and also across any channels that I consult for, I'm also able to see what's working for them. And so I'll change opinions based on what I'm seeing, and then also studying in general. But yeah, that's why you're not crazy.
Yeah, Hundo P. Yep. Well, other than that, what you got for us, Ben?
That's it, man.
Cool.
It's the office, yes, for the mug. It's the people's faces. I can't really turn it and show you, but that's it.
Cool, man. So with all of that said, there's always this incredible part of the day. And this is another thing that I think is super interesting to do. So guys, when I go to our Spotify, so there's this app where you can go rather to listen to memes and markets. It's called Spotify. What I just did was I just went to Google and I typed in memes and markets. Really cool couple of things pull up. We got our YouTube channel, our Instagram, and then you can go to the Spotify. And when you click on it, it allows you to do this really cool thing where you can click on this little star button right there and you can hit which one of these stars you believe in. Right now, everybody says 5 stars. And we're trying to get 100 people to go and take this action. So if you're watching and you're enjoying this in any way, the best thing that you could do right now to support is to actually go over here to Spotify, give us a review, and you might have to play one of these episodes before you do it, and hit that review button. And once you do this, by the way, what's going to happen is once we get to 100 reviews, Ben and I are going to release our combined playlist, and you're going to see our music tastes. You're going to be a part of our tribe and kind of like, understand us a little bit better and have some fun.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good playlist. I've got my songs there. We'll add to it and change it. And then maybe in the future when we have Patreons and stuff like that, we get people to vote on additions to the thing. And then also we got some cool ideas that we want to do with the Patreon or any sort of memberships that we roll out in the future to have people more involved. Like one thing that Keith and I discussed was potentially when provided different options for sponsorships, we'll throw it out to the community and be like, which one feels most aligned. Mm-hmm. So like things of that nature, we'll definitely try to be as creative as we can and listen to your guys' feedback and do everything we can to make things make sense.
100%. And for you guys today, Sailor Huromore from Fade is what's on my plate. That's what I'm bumping at the moment. He just put out this guy named Fade. He's one of the top like reggaeton artists. You're talking 36 million monthly listeners. Let's see where he's at today. He's 138 in the world, which is so wild to me that you can have that many plays and be 138 in the world. But he just put out an album. So I think this one's going on the playlist, Ben. I'm not going to lie. There's a banger on there.
I'm all for it, buddy.
But yeah, guys. So that's our episode today. Anything else on your mind? Anything you guys got in the chat for us, Ben?
Nope, that's it. I appreciate all y'all tuning in. We have a guest on Thursday, so definitely if you're new to this or watching on the recording, make sure to turn on all notifications because the only posts on this channel will ever be live streams.
That's it. That's it. Hit us up on Spotify, guys. It makes a huge difference for us.
We appreciate you tremendously. Thanks for doing it. It takes like a minute or two of your time, and it means the world to us. It's completely free as well. So we appreciate all of y'all. That's all from me. If anything in the chat that you guys want to wrap up on before we call it a day? Doesn't seem like it.
Doesn't seem like it. Yeah, we'll see you guys on Thursday. We got some cool guests coming up this week as well as next week, so stay super tuned. Let me tell you.
That's it, 100%. Well, that's all from me. Should we wrap up?
Yep.
Cool. Thanks, y'all. See all you on Thursday.
Make today the best day of your life.
Peace, guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Play the outro.